This is George Dionne of the Roc is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with vocalist Dorothy Martin of the Southern Hard Rock act, Dorothy. If I knew absolutely nothing about Dorothy, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Rock and roll with a twist of country and southern rock and with an occasional soulful ballad thrown in there.
That's definitely what I hear on your latest album, The Way, which was released today,
Hey,
March 14th through Roc Nation. You say that the album and also the song that accompanies the album's title is sort of a love letter to the fans in the sense that we'll help each other find the way, if you want to expand on that a little bit.
oh yeah. So yeah, when I named the album, I was reading the Bible and I just thought the words "the way" really resonated with me, and I highlighted it and sent it to my songwriting team. And I really can't take much credit for that song because I work with my producer and songwriting partner, Scott Stevens, and the Four Horsemen, and half of it was written in Nashville. And when I went to Nashville to write with everyone, Blair's like, "Hey, so when you sent us the album title, it really inspired me, and I wrote this ballad." And there was not a dry eye in the room when he played it for us. And so I did add some of my, personal lyric content on the bridge. And it was, I felt, the perfect way to wrap up the album. And, it's about, yeah, it's about reaching out to hold someone's hand.
And that's a little something that we've forgotten maybe as a society over the last few years, is kind of reaching out to help one another and kind of be there regardless of what our viewpoints are, what we believe in, or how we live our lives.
That's right. We have. And I think that, there's a lot of healing and unity to be had. And what better way to do it than through music?
Now, you mentioned the Four Horsemen. I remember reading who they were. Zach Malloy was the only one that comes back to my mind because I've interviewed him before. But who are the other members of the
Marty
Horsemen?
Fredericks, yeah, Marty Fredrickson, the great, and Scott Stevens and Blair Daly, who wrote "The Way," the ballad. He brought us the flesh and bones. We added some stuff to it, but man, that's like my family. I love those guys. They're excellent songwriters, excellent musicians, and Scott Stevens is the captain of my ship right now as my producer.
Awesome. So speaking of Scott, what exactly does he bring to the table for you that you entrust him with putting this album together?
Well, he knows what it's like to be an artist. He was the frontman, or is the frontman of the EXIES, and he's an incredible songwriter and producer. He wears many hats, as do I, and he created a safe space for me to write, and really, he really just took it to the next level with the production and making sure the mixes sound great. And Chris Baseford mixed everything on this record, and I just feel like I'm in good, more than capable hands. And as an artist, I trust him and I love writing with him. And he's got all these great connections. So he connects me with other songwriters. And we were just off to the races on this one. It felt really good.
So in addition to releasing the album today, you released the focus track, Superhuman.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about that song?
Okay, so I'm a born again Christian. I was saved in rehab in Nashville on Halloween of 2020, and there was a full blood red moon in the sky. I mean, it was weird and creepy, and then I just, it was another step in my journey, and I wanted to write a song telling God how much I love him, but make it a cool rock song, without being too preachy, and just include my testimony in a way. And so because I think life imitates art, and you have to write about what you have to experience life, I feel, in my humble opinion, to have deep things to talk about in your songs. And so it's about when we try to do it on our own strength, it just doesn't seem to ever work out. We're human beings. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone fails. We've all fallen short, but when you allow and invite God into your life to take over, really supernatural, amazing things can happen, which I've witnessed more than once with my own eyes. And there's nothing anyone can say to change my mind. And I've felt the power and the presence. And so he has made me feel superhuman. And that's what that song's about.
That's awesome. One of the singles from the new album that's getting a lot of talk and a lot of eyes is Tombstone Town featuring Slash. This is sort of a lover scorned story, and it has
Yes.
a pretty cool film noir grindhouse style video. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the track first?
I mean, the album wouldn't be complete without some, some warfare and fighting. So it's based on a true story of betrayal. And boy, am I glad it happened now because, you know, God will remove people that were not meant for you in such a specific way. That's the most dangerous prayer you can pray. And but at the time, it was awful. I mean, it was horrible to be betrayed like that and lied to and humiliated and made and abused and made to feel less than. And to me, therapy is putting it in a song, and it made for a really great story. And I got to get very creative with the video and with Slash. And I asked my creative director, Linda Strawberry, I said, can you make a Grindhouse poster with me and Slash? I just think with the outlaw country aesthetic and the guns and it'd be cool and it would feel like a movie. And so that's how the video ended up being that way. And true story. Yeah. I mean, I was like, my anger has to go somewhere, and probably the safest place is in a song.
So for Slash's appearance, was that sort of a payback for your appearance on his last album, Orgy of the Damned, or does it go the other way?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know if we look at it that way. I just, when opportunity knocks, I say yes. And I felt like we're just friends, and he's very supportive of what I'm doing. And I sent him a bunch of songs to choose from. And so he chose that one.
I absolutely love the album's opening track, I Come Alive. It has the soft piece that kicks into a really hard rocking song. Why don't you tell me a little bit about putting that song together?
Yeah. So, okay, the first piece of rock music I ever heard, and I just made this connection after, listening back to all the mixes, was Pink Floyd's Great Gig in the Sky. And I just think that female vocal in the beginning that felt big and larger than life kind of stayed in me in a way. And in the studio, Scott Stevens had soloed all the strings. And I said, can you loop that? Can I just like sing over that and just let my voice just do it, like whatever comes out. And so I was like, I want it to feel like we're taking people to church in a big cathedral, and it just felt like a very inspired and powerful moment. So he pieced all my runs together, and we kept that as the intro.
Now, you've mentioned it several times. Your faith is a huge influence in what you do, and I applaud you for that. We need more of that in the industry. By no means are you writing worship music, but have you received any pushback from the industry for this infusing your faith into your music?
I would say it is worship music. I would say that the church is the body out in the world and not necessarily in a building. And actually, quite the contrary, I'm surrounded by believers in the music industry. It's pretty cool what God's doing and linking us all up together. And I think that the more bold and vocal people are about their faith, they'll look around and see, wow, there's all these believers around me, and then we can encourage and strengthen each other, and then we can go out and do what we were called to do in the world.
I think there were a lot of believers that were afraid during the last few years to come out and profess their faith because it seemed like a hostile environment towards believers.
Yes, and anytime there's a concerted move of darkness, there's a bigger move of God. So watch out.
Amen. The Way is your fourth album for Roc Nation. How did you originally end up signing with the label back in 2015?
Yeah, my first manager knew someone at the label, and we had written a few songs after midnight, and I had a meeting with Jay Brown, and he wanted to sign me. And so it was just like a, one step at a time type connection. And I was like, am I in the right place? And now I realize, yes, it's confirmed that I'm in the right place.
I saw a video on your social media of you unpacking the vinyl version of your new album. The orange and black vinyl looks absolutely stunning. Are you a fan or collector of vinyl yourself?
Oh, yes, yes. I've only kept the specific gems because they get heavy to move around, but I grew up with my parents' vinyl collection and I just listen to all types of vinyl, all types of music.
You're going to be heading out on the Redemption Tour starting March 21st through May 18th with Corey Marks, and Return to Dust jumps on the tour at some point. This is a mix of clubs and festivals. What can fans expect on the tour?
Yeah, and theaters and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think I'm excited. I can't wait. I have no idea.
All right, it'll be a surprise for everyone.
Yes.
Is
Hopefully a
this
great time. Hopefully they'll walk away having, like an out of body experience. That would be great.
Have you ever played with Corey Marks or Return to Dust before?
No, no. And fun fact, that's Slash's son's band, Return to Dust. And yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah. So no, I'm very excited.
Isn't Slash going to appear at one of your shows in March?
Yes, March 21st, El Rey Theater, Los Angeles. We're gonna do a few songs with him. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, when it comes to the club or theater shows versus the festivals, which one do you prefer? I mean, they both have their positives and negatives, but which do you prefer?
Yeah, it just depends on the venue. I love theaters. They always sound great and they're intimate, but they feel big. But it just depends. You never know when a great show is going to hit you. Really, the audience brings a lot to the table with their energy and their participation. So yeah.
And not just as an artist, I would imagine as a fan, the festivals give you a chance to rub elbows with some of the artists you admire.
Yes, it's always good to see everyone. It is. It is. And it's great for the fans to see a lot of bands and artists that they love in one day.
You've collaborated with numerous artists over the past few years. I wanted to know how you ended up collaborating with NITA STRAUSS for her Call of the Void album back in 2023.
She just reached out to me. She's like, "Hey, I have this song, Victorious. Do you want to sing on it?" Because she was getting vocalists on her project and I love her. And I said, yes, of course.
Were you able to perform that live at any point during her touring run?
We did it at the LA Rams game at the stadium in Los Angeles. They asked me to do the national anthem, which is not easy, but it's a huge honor. And I did that. And then we did Victorious and called it a day. So it was a great day a great day in LA.
Another thing the two of you have in common is that your music has been used for the World Wrestling Entertainment Organization. I know one of your songs was used a few years back for one of their pay-per-views. Are you a wrestling fan?
I am now. I'm getting there. But you know what? And it's all kind of in that world of mixed martial arts too. And I really do. I train Muay Thai. I did, martial arts as a kid growing up and never got into jujitsu, but now I'm kind of like learning all these new things about wrestling. It's just all ages. And I had no idea how massive wrestling was. Sorry, but I know now. So
another artist that you collaborated with was Stained on their Confessions of the Fallen album in 2024. Was this just another case of they called you up and said, "Hey, do you like this track? Do you want to be on it?"
yes, I have no idea how people get my number. No idea. Yeah, no, I've collaborated with so many wonderful people. One of my favorites has to be Scott Stapp. We did If These Walls Could Talk, and it was such a beautiful song that he wrote, and he asked me to be on it. And we had mutual friends, so I'm really glad because I grew up a huge Creed fan.
I think we all did, and it feels
And if
like
you did it, you're a liar.
I think there's a big resurgence with Creed too for the people that didn't really pay attention to them back in the 90s. Now they're sort of having a heyday. They got reels, they got memes. The Creed's like blowing up now.
They're doing great. I mean, they're selling out these massive shows. I got to go to a few of them, and it's really wonderful to see young fans in the audience discovering Creed.
Are you planning a second leg of the Redemption tour? Or are you going to see how the tour goes first?
Oh yeah, we're already planning it. So, throw caution to the wind and get on the horse and ride is what I say.
Are you working on any other collaborations? Has anybody called you up and say, "Hey, I got this song for you," and you just haven't gotten to it yet?
If the right thing came along, sure. But in this season, it's go time. It's time to tour the record. I don't know if I'd even have time to do it. We're just elbows deep in promotion and touring and appearances. So, but you never know. Things like that happen all the time.
Well, Dorothy, those are all the questions I have for you today. The new album, The Way, is out now through Roc Nation. It is a fantastic album. I can't wait to get my hands on the black and orange vinyl, and I want to thank you for taking the time to tell me more about it today.
Thank you, George.